Alrighty, so we are recording. Welcome everybody to tonight's team call. Let's see if I can adjust the sound settings here just a little bit so we don't have as much feedback. Um, Alrighty, all right, everyone's good to go. Cool. Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to continue our convention recap sessions, and so I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys what you guys got to experience from convention. But we're going to cover Debra Rayburn's class this evening on setting your sights on silver. Dana and I got to go see that one in the Vivint Arena, so we didn't get to see it over in the Salt Palace across the street. We got to see it in the arena, so that was actually kind of cool. Debra Rayburn is actually very, very interesting to me because I feel like she's maybe one of the more reserved speakers, and like her delivery. So as a blue person, it doesn't really resonate with me very much. But like the information that she drops is like gold. So I'm going to do my best to try to get that across for you guys, and then we'll open it up for discussion. I see we got some of our silver leaders on the line this evening too, and get their take and tidbits and things that they would like to offer also. So let me see if I can set this up to share my screen really quickly. All right. Can everyone see my screen? All right, cool, cool. All right, so let's kind of run through. I'm not going to run through the entire presentation because I feel like you can go back and watch it if you do have the digital ticket. But I do want to hit on some of the important points, and then we'll open up the discussion. So, you know what? Let me see if I can actually do this because I have a clear version. So she started out her presentation looking at the income disclosure statement. And so it's actually, I was going to try to show my desktop background, which is actually the income disclosure statement now, because I feel like it's really important to look at. And she drew attention mainly to, silver because that's what she was talking about. And the average income of a silver is around $2,200. So one of the things that she mentioned that was very cool about that is that's like, that's life changing for a lot of individuals. An extra $2,200, even if you work a full-time job, can make a big difference in your household. But one of the things that usually I draw attention to is not only the amount, which is the average, but also the time that it takes to achieve that rank, roughly. So you're looking at the lowest being 1 month, but on average is about 36 months to achieve the rank of silver, which is not bad to get to the point of making roughly about 22, almost 2,300 bucks a month, especially if you're already working a full-time job. So just something to keep in mind. I keep this in front of me as often as possible because it really does set an interesting goal for me to achieve within the next 90 days. All right, so in this slide, it asks the question, is silver a big deal? And one of the things that Debra stressed is it really, really is, because silver is actually the first leadership rank within Young Living. So even though you have other ranks, you have your star, senior star, executive, silver, until you hit silver, you haven't hit a leadership rank within Young Living, which is why they pay you like a leader. So some of the other benefits from it is you qualify for 3 months in a row as a silver, and you earn a free trip to, it's actually Mona. I guess she said they forgot to correct that in her slide show, but it's to the farm in Mona that you're able to go. You are recognized at convention, so for those who are at convention, they got to see all the silvers walk across stage. You do receive recognition for that, and you do set yourself up to go to Royal Crown Diamond. One of the things that I want to stress that Debra kind of drew attention to is that it is the sweet spot. Like I mentioned, for most people, having an extra $2,200 to $2,300 a month is life changing. Whether it's to pay some more bills within the household, or to go on vacation, or just to have more money to play with, it is the sweet spot. It does make a huge difference, but you don't want to become complacent and just stay there. And we'll talk about why as we move on a little bit later. So what do you need to become silver? So you need your 100 PV, your personal value. You need 1,000 personal group volume. So that's you and everyone else that you have personally enrolled that has not qualified for the rank of silver or above. You need 2 legs with each 4,000 4,000 OGV in each leg, and a total OGV value of 10,000 with all your legs combined. So pretty simple still, but we'll explain why silver is such a big deal. So the number of people to accomplish that is usually, in a perfect world, 100 people ordering 100 PV. But as we know, and we talked about last week when we were talking about getting people on ER, most people have around a 32% ER rate, a percentage of people on ER. So most likely that's not going to be the case. The average number of people that it takes to reach silver on your team is about 250. Now, one thing that she did draw attention to was that's not just you bringing in personally 250 people. This is helping your team duplicate and grow to 250 people who are all ordering. So that's including your customer base as well as your business builders as well. So it is an easy pattern to follow. One of the great things about Young Living is they do have money along the way, upfront money, so that's pretty great too. Because we realize that as people get in and they want to get more and more products, Young Living has that upfront money to help them do that. I'm not really going to go into the Rising Star bonus because I feel like it's better covered in the compensation plan. But essentially what you can get from this slide is set yourself up with at least 7 legs. So that's 7 personal enrollees, at least, that you want to be wide before you start building deep. Now, Debra did say that you can feel free to build far more than that, and that's okay too. One thing that I found interesting that when she said that is when you build wide, if you have more than 7 legs, it does help to contribute to your PGV, which you need at least 1,000 per month for silver. So think of it this way: the more people that you have personally that you recruited, that you've enrolled them wide, that counts towards your PGV, so that you don't have to personally buy $1,000 worth of product to qualify for your silver rank. So just keep that in mind from this slide. So once again, we talked about some of the team structure, your 2 legs of at least 4,000 OGV each, with a total of 10,000 OGV in your 1,000 personal group volume. So as you can see, it can grow exponentially. All right, so let's get to some of the nitty gritty of what Debra talked about and some skills to master. I feel like when we went to convention, Eric Worre is very, very much an advocate for this. You have to develop skills, conversational skills, to become silver in this business. And I know that we have some people who are very shy on the line, or they feel like they're not people persons, but that's okay too. You just have to develop certain skills. So she talks a lot about developing icebreakers, and feel free to Google what an icebreaker, what icebreakers you can use. But essentially, it's a statement or some type of compliment that you can use to start a conversation with someone. So if they have on a nice piece of clothing, hey, that's a really, really nice jacket. Like, I really like that. Where'd you get it? Or what do you do for a living? Like, why are you dressed so nice? Anything to get the conversation rolling. Then what you want to share. So, give them an opportunity, ask questions that allow them to share more about their personal life and who they are, so that you can find a need and be relevant to them. I feel like we do talk a lot about that. That's why you don't have to develop skills of being salesy in this business whatsoever. If you develop the art of conversation, you will go very, very far, because we're just looking to fill a need. But you have to listen to be able to do that. Developing good closing skills is another one. So a lot of times, like, we develop those skills on introducing people to the products, we get them to a class, but we just don't close them out properly, so they never take any action, or they never enroll. So developing good closing skills. Learning the enrollment process and about essential rewards. Now, we talked a little bit about this last week and why it's so important. But when we enroll someone, we should be trying to enroll them on Essential Rewards when they purchase their kit. If we can do that, it's going to help you reach silver a lot quicker. So learn that enrollment process. Learn, if you haven't had an opportunity, go back and watch last week's video where we talked about ER, and Chris Opfer talks about how to close someone with Essential Rewards when they get started. It's going to be very, very beneficial for you. And then lastly, learn to follow up, because that's where the fortune is. That's really where the payout is. How you make your money and build your business is to follow up with people. You have to develop those skills if you are to reach silver. So along talking about the icebreakers, one of the main things to pay attention to here is to pre-qualify people. So I feel like sometimes we try to pick out individuals that we feel that our product will fit. But she gave the example of, like, sometimes if she does like a vendor event and someone comes by the booth, one of the questions she asks them is, are you into natural health and wellness? And if they say no, I go to my doctor, he gives me all my medications, he prescribes me everything and lays out my whole plan, then her point was kind of, why would we waste our time trying to change their outlook on health and wellness? It really just doesn't suit. So instead, when you're listening to find out if there's a need that you can fill for an individual, pre-qualify them. Are they a person who is into natural health and wellness already, or are they searching for natural wellness options, or are they a financially savvy person? That was the other thing she brought out. If we're looking for business builders or to draw people who understand business to our business. The nice thing about icebreakers, there's no rejections. So if you have a conversation with an individual and there's not a need that you feel like you can fit, that's not necessarily a rejection, right? You had a conversation and you move on to the next individual so that you can have a conversation and pre-qualify someone else. And then you want to set them up where you pretty much have them asking for a presentation. So we don't beg individuals to please come to our class, please come learn about our products. We already know that we have great products, hands down. We already know that we have one of the best compensation plans out there. There's no need to beg for a presentation. If a person is genuinely interested and wants to know more, and we've done a good job of pre-qualifying them, then they're going to ask us where they can find out more information. So we can see, like, why developing icebreaker skills is such a, or good conversation skills is so good, because it really takes out the whole pressure of feeling like you have to sell someone. Just develop good conversational skills. So some of the questions that she uses usually start with, I'm just curious. So I'm just curious, do you like those diet shakes? Like, how many times do we go to work and we see people who have their little milkshake or protein shake, and they're always making the face right when they eat it or drink it because it tastes awful. And, you know, if they say no, well, hey, I have a sample of a sleek shake, and the sleek shakes taste great. We can start talking about that. Hey, if I brought you a sample tomorrow, do you think you'd like to try it? Yes or no? I'm just curious, what would you do if you got a big pay raise? I'm just curious, do you enjoy working evenings? Would you ever like to be your own boss, or would it be fun to get paid to travel? And these are questions that help you pre-qualify people. So like I mentioned, there's a ton of icebreaker questions on the internet that you can look up on how to start a conversation, but these were a few examples that she used. This one was a good one at the top here. I just found out how we can get an extra paycheck every month. If you are ever interested in finding out, just let me know. So one of the reasons she drew attention to that is because most people on their job, if you tell them that you got an extra paycheck, they feel like, did I miss something? Like, did the boss forget to pay me? Like, why did you get an extra paycheck and I didn't? So that just leads into a great segue on how you can explain how you got an extra paycheck, and just see if it sparks their interest. How's that working for you? So this is a great question to ask. So remember, we talked about finding a need to fulfill, and most of the time people, when we find that problem, asking what they've tried is great, but also find out how's it working, because a lot of times people are making changes, but what if the changes that they're making aren't really working for them? Then they might still be looking for something else. So ask that question. Ask what they're doing about the problem, and once they respond, ask how's it working for them, and then tell them what worked for you. So don't go into a pitch about a product. Just let them know what you tried and the results that you got, because a lot of times people care about your personal story more than they care about the product. Alrighty. So okay, so this slide, I thought this was very interesting. One of the things that that Debra talked about is not only asking questions that engage people, but particularly this last bullet point at the bottom is getting yourself out there to be around people that you can converse with, and add to your 100 names list, so to speak. So going to expos, going to parties, dinners with friends. She mentioned joining certain clubs. So like look on Meetup or Facebook. There's always types of clubs that you can join to meet new people to have these conversations with. So what to share? Pretty much the gist of this was you want to have the same 10-minute opening, same 10-minute closing, and 30 minutes in between. We don't need to have a long, drawn-out class session every time that we present Young Living to potential members. We want to pretty much set it up so it's easy for us to do over and over again. It's duplicatable or duplicable, because that's one of the main things that she did stress about reaching for silver, is having a system in place that's duplicable, that other people can do, and it's natural for you, so that when someone sees it, they're like, oh, I can do that. I have no problem doing that. Pre-planned classes are great for education, but she did talk about how we sometimes get in the habit of just posting intro to oils or 101 into essential oils, and the name of the class and the types of classes that you do are really what are going to attract people. If I can be very candid, the green in me understands the class that's entitled Intro to Oils or 101 Essential Oils, but the blue in me like cringes every time I see that title. And she pretty much felt the same way. So get creative with the way that you title your classes. Think about what would be fresh and attractive to draw people in to want to come to one of your classes. So some of the examples she gave was clean slate, getting the chemicals out of your house. Superhero, so going over the core everyday nutritional supplements and oils that you might use. I really like this one, Magic Chef. I thought something more along the lines of Master Chef, but cooking with oils and other food products. So think about having something that's interactive, that's not just a forum where people are going to sit for an hour and just try to take notes and look at slides. Get people involved in using products, and that's really what's going to make a difference there. For the women, now that they have the makeup line, you can do makeup and spa parties. I know Dana and Tashina just did one today. But using a title like Glamour or My Child is a Genius, going over the seedlings and Kid Sense line can be a draw. One thing I didn't even think about was philanthropy. You have a lot of people that are interested in philanthropy. So you can do a whole presentation on the philanthropy of Young Living and the Young Living Foundation, if that is something that appeals to people that you've talked to. Taco Tuesday practice. So this was a good one that she talked about on how a new person can get people in front of their presentation. And so she said she doesn't put all this out. This is just an example she pulled off the internet. But feed people, invite them over your house for like a small meal and say, hey, I just got started within this business. I really just want to practice my presentation and get your feedback, and you can tell me what you did or did not like about my presentation. Most people are not going to turn down an opportunity for free food, so they're going to show up for that at least. And you let them know right before you present that I'm going to present to you just as I would an actual person at an actual class. So at the end, ask them, close them out, ask them which kit would they like to get started with, ask them what items would they like to get on their essential rewards, and just sit and wait. Because she said she has enrolled a few of members of her family and friends just by doing the practice session, and not necessarily particularly trying to enroll them, but by doing the practice session in front of them. So that was another great idea that Debra had. So closing. This is, I feel like, one of the hardest skills for many people to master, and it's just, I feel like it's one of those things we don't spend enough time on. I really liked this first bullet point that she talked about, because the reality is everyone has the money to get their kid. Um, the only difference that makes is where they spend it is governed by their money mindset. So they're really thinking, is this really of value to me? So usually if we close someone and they have not gotten their kit, we've either done one or two things wrong. We either haven't built enough value in the kit, or they simply actually don't have the money at that time. And those are two things that we can work with, right? So we can work in building the value and helping them understand. But that's why it's so important to pre-qualify individuals, because if they're not pre-qualified and they're not really interested in natural health and wellness at all, then we're not going to most likely close them anyway. So that pre-qualification process is very, very important, because it does make your closing very, very that much easier. It's not the money, it's the plan that enrolls them. So think about how good Young Living support is, and as far as our team is with supporting classes and having a system that's duplicable. It is the system that enrolls people. It's not necessarily the money. So we've set up a system where we teach and train people how to educate other members, how to enroll members. Allow the plan or the system to do the work, so they can take some of the stress and strain off of you. When they see the big picture, they will enroll. So people may not necessarily get it right away, but if we've done a good job of painting the whole health, wellness, and abundance picture, when they do see that, they will enroll. And this question here at the bottom is just part of what Debra asks when she's closing somebody. She doesn't ask, would you like to get a kit, or any questions that really lead to yes or no answers. She asks the question, which kit will you be starting with? We have 4 or 5, I think it's 4 or up to 5 kits almost now. No, 4, I'm sorry, that individuals can get enrolled with. So ask that question, which one do you want to start with? And then be quiet and let them pick and choose. So we talked about essential rewards. Follow up. All right. So this one was a really big one that she spent a little bit of time on. When to follow up with an individual when they get started. So at enrollment, you want to connect with them, make sure you have all the information to contact them with. We do have the Happy Oilers Facebook group. So at that time, if they're okay with being enrolled in the Facebook group, add them to the group. Ask them, hey, say, hey, we have a Facebook group. We do all this education. This is where you can go to ask any questions and get answers to. Is it okay if I put you in that group? If they say yes, obviously add them. At 1 week, when they receive their kit, contact them again and make sure they got it. Go over some of the products in their kit and some of the literature, because they're not going to remember everything from the class. She also mentioned that she keeps flip kits when she does her classes, because she wants people to be able to take them home. The success rate, I think we talked about it last week, the success rate of people enrolling goes up exponentially when you have something on hand that they can physically take home. So just think about that as well. At 2 weeks, we're sharing new resources with them, answering any other questions that they may have, reviewing names of people that they might like to share with, or people that they've already probably started to share with, because we've built that excitement with them. At 3 weeks, they're having their first class or first impromptu meeting with their friends. We're helping to support them if we can. And then every month, we want to follow up with people to show that we care. Because let me see if I can find it here. Yep, it is in this next slide here. If we don't follow up with them every single month, they will fall off. And one of the key points that Debra stressed about that is, you're trying to build to silver. So you're going to constantly fight attrition in this business anyway. But if you follow up with individuals and take a personal interest with every single person that you've personally enrolled every single month, it's going to help slow down that process of attrition. And as you're adding new members and getting them on essential rewards, your OGV is going to start to grow. So that's why follow-up is so important. If they didn't get their kit at a class, follow up with them afterwards to see when they're going to get their kit. See what barriers hold them back from getting started today. That's why it's important. It also mentions that recognize people for their milestones. So if they hit star or place their first essential rewards order, like give them recognition for that. People like those kinds of things. If a person is missing money, so running your money misser report in your back office to make sure that everybody's getting every single ounce of money from the compensation plan, whether they realize it or not, making sure that they can get that money just by letting them know that, hey, your PV is close to almost 100. Maybe they're at $95 or something. Let them know that, like, if they placed a 5 PV order, then they would get paid out this commission rate. Just making them aware of that. All of that is done in the follow-up. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I really wanted to stress, because the rest of it is, here it is. Okay. So 90-day challenge. And this is why she talked, Debra talked about the simple fact that people can go silver in 90 days. Having 15 meetings in those 90 days, this is what your meeting makeup should look like. So 10 of those meetings should be about product, because we are a product first company. Continuing to keep people educated is really going to help lead to growth within your business. But also having those 2 business classes or small business meetups for your leaders and people who are actually looking to pursue this as a business. And then having the hands-on, so having different kinds of classes to keep people engaged. But she does it in a 90-day challenge because it's to make a commitment to yourself that for these 90 days, I'm going to make a run and do income producing activity, which is all of these things here for 90 days so that I can experience growth. I did think about, she also talked about your time management. It kind of goes in line with that, because 80% of your time should be spent prospecting. So I know it's very easy to get caught up in social media. Debra said when she got started, social media was not really around. There was a lot more face-to-face interaction, which most people still do crave to this day. Social media is very good for reaching a mass amount of people at one time. But she did bring out the point that if you do not have, oh, did I draw that? That's weird. If you do not already have like a huge social media following, then maybe that may not be the space for you to build. If you prefer face-to-face interaction like I do, then build in face-to-face interaction. But stay on task with what's going to be productive for your business. I think that was the main things that I wanted to cover. I know that I've gone a little bit long for now, but I want to open it up to the floor for individuals who would like to comment. I know that we have our silvers on the line, Julie and Leah. So if there's anything that you guys would like to share, the floor is open to the team.
I'll say something.
Go ahead, Julie.
I don't have it up, and maybe you do have it. She had something called the excuse graphic. I thought was really, really awesome. But with that, she was saying something about a delayed action means no action. So if you think about doing something in your head, get up, do it, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up, do it. Because if you don't, you won't. And so I thought that was something, and to believe in yourself, believe in the product, believe in the company, and believe in the process of getting yourself to silver, and you will go there. And I thought that was good. And then she had something too, good attitude and a few ideas will take you to where you want to go. The no excuse mentality. And then you have to develop that mindset, because we all come from the same tight cloth. And so we have to fight against ourselves. But the more we do that, the more our mindset will become that of a goal seeker and getting to where we want to be. That's all.
Yeah, I'm glad that you reminded me about that, Julie, because that was a good point. Sometimes we feel like we're not necessarily worthy to have certain things financially. So a lot of it is we have to change our mindset and say that for us, it's okay to be successful. It's okay to have certain things. So that mindset is very, very important. If we have a a poverty mindset and we're trying to do a business where we talk about health, wellness, and abundance, and we don't have that mindset, it's going to come across and people detect that. So they're like, hey, we're not buying what you're selling because you don't believe it. So thank you for bringing that out. And anybody else have anything else they wanted to share?
This is Tashina. I'll share for a little bit. So just to add to that, I know at the end, actually, she was getting a little bit emotional. And she did some quote. I can't remember. I'm in the car right now. I just got back home. But she was just saying, like, we have everything that we need to be silver. We have everything we need to be Royal Crown Diamond. And I think you're fairly right that I would say that she's definitely a green yellow. You know, she's an introverted personality. Marcella Von Harding is also an introverted personality. And I mean, we have all these people that it's just really a decision to do the things that you need to do. We talk about it all the time. Do the 4 classes per week or the 15 classes per month. She did that for 2 years. That is what you need to do to be successful. So, and that 80% of your time has to be doing that, meeting new people or having classes where new people can come. So you just got to make the decision to do that and know that there's going to be things that are uncomfortable when you do that, but that is what you need to be successful. Whether it's the game plan, whether it's whatever system that you're talking about, you have to make the decision to do that. Like until, like Julie just said, if it's delayed action, it's no action. So how many classes do you have next week, or how many classes are you plugging into next week? That really is a measure of how serious you are with this business and how you can get on the road to silver. I mean, that is where it's at, and that's what the crux of the end of her class was. And once you do that and you do it to silver, you can get to Royal Crown Diamond.
Thank you, Tashina. I apologize because I didn't recognize you as the other silver that we have on here. So Tashina, for those who don't know, Tashina is also one of our silver uplines. And Tara Lynn too. I'm sorry. I did not recognize those other silvers, so I apologize. Is there anything else that any of our silvers would like to reiterate or share from their experience and journey from reaching silver?
I have one more thing.
Go ahead, Julie.
Okay, so when she was talking about the skills that we need, and she was talking about the icebreakers, because sometimes something that's simple in my mind, but it's not for a lot of people, is to break the ice, to bring up a conversation. Oh, I love that nail polish, or your haircut is so cute. Where'd you get it done? Those kind of things. But everything that she was quoting, and she was quoting, has become who she is, was from Big Al Schreiter. And I don't know if you guys know that, but whenever I just found out that, or I'm just curious, the question, a lot of the things that she was saying, it's like, wow, that's all Al Schreiter. And so if you need help to get past those icebreakers, like she said she had a whole list of them or something, but she didn't go ahead and say them, that he's got dozens of books on Amazon, and they're not that expensive. And sometimes you can get them on Kindle for like a couple dollars, that if you need help learning how to speak or speak up or say what you have on your mind, or there's just so many good books out there by Big Al. And you can tell that she is taking that to heart because she uses it even as a royal crown. That's how she learned to speak. She had to have, you know. So that's just something else I wanted to say. Get those books, or even get one. There is one specifically called Icebreakers that could be a very good help to you if that is you. Okay.
Julie,
Hi, Carol.
Julie, really quickly, while I have you online, would you say that it's worth it to be silver?
Absolutely. I don't fight for it so much now because now I'm building on to gold, but I fought for silver. I fight for silver. I never want to go under silver again. It's been life-changing. I cannot tell you. And I'm sure Tara Lynn and whoever else is silver on here can tell you, it's changed my life. Totally. It has. It saved my house. We were losing the house. It saved my house, being silver for a year during bankruptcy. That's what saved this house. That's what's paid my car off. That's what's getting me a new bathroom. I'm just telling you, silver is your goal, and then way beyond too. Royal Crown is if it's in your head, that's what you want, go for it. But you got to get the silver first to see the real life-changing benefits. And yes, it's worth it.
There you go. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Julie. Any of our other silvers have anything that they would like to add?
I got something to toss in. Sorry, my phone died for a second there, so I missed the little blurb in there. I hope I didn't miss too much, but if I repeat anything somebody said, I'm apologizing now. I know that Debra Rayburn built entirely through classes, but there's lots of Royal Crown diamonds out there. They all do it a little differently, and that's okay. You guys are doing a podcast. I think that's phenomenal. If you look into Madison Vining, she was at our silver retreat, and I think she's maybe I don't want to say maybe like an updated version of how they built her Royal Crown diamond in the past, because she utilized social media. She didn't have a huge following to start with, but she still utilized it. And I would like to encourage all of you guys to do the same. I know a lot of you already are on Facebook, obviously, and most of you are on Instagram. And I know Tashina's building a YouTube channel, and there's 100 ways to do it. But one of the differences, and Shannon always brings this up, the difference between us just getting started, the silver or the Royal Crown diamond, is how many people we've gotten in front of. And there's no faster way to tighten that gap than utilizing things like social media to get in front of more people at a time. So I would encourage you guys to do that, creating a way for you to open up to more people. Now, that's a little bit harder because you're probably thinking, well, how do I get the followers? I would say look into that. It's worthwhile looking into how to get more people following you, more people interested in you. And I can't give you one method because there's so many out there. You could take an Instagram training class. You can do any of these free challenges like Amber does to try to garner people to a following by bringing things of interest to people. I mean, there's ways to do it out there, and it's just another opportunity for you to get in front of more people at a time. Because other than having classes and the initial 100 list you start with, it's another way to get in front of more people and really maximize the growth period that you have.
All right. Thank you, Leah, for sharing that. Oh, Julie, you're waving again? You have to-
I'm sorry. To go along with that, she did end it by saying, never compare yourself. Don't compare yourself with somebody who grew in 18 months. If they did that, that's their thing. But if you take 5 years to get to, a diamond or 10 years even. I mean, our own Royal Crown diamonds didn't get involved for 14 years or something before they even thought of selling the stuff. And then, it took them 5 years, I think, to get to where they're at. So never compare yourself, but compare yourself to yourself. And this isn't from Debra Rayburn. This is to me. If you are not from me, if you every day get up and you say, perusing Facebook and Instagram all day, that is not an income producing thing. Now, if you're going on there and posting some good graphics and maybe answering some, perusing different sites or something and answering a question or throwing a tidbit out there for somebody that they might latch onto that's about oils, then that's a different story. But don't compare yourself to anybody but yourself. But if you're not doing the income producing things and you know what those are, then you need to step it up for yourself if you're going to grow. So that's all. I'm sorry.
No, look, we appreciate all the silvers being involved and sharing their experience. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to add? Floor is open and yours.
I could add one more thing if you don't mind. And that's just that there's not a single person on this team I don't see the potential in becoming a silver with. So many of you guys have brought to your business more skills than I have or will ever have. I admire so many of you. The persistence, the way you're go-getters and you get out there and you work hard in spite of the challenges you face, how you grab hold of the things that are important to you and hold on with the tenacity that is unbelievable to me. I see in each one of you the ability to do it. I hope you see it in yourself because it's there. So I know some of you have hit different seasons where you could work harder than others, but use that same tenacity that you've had to hold on to the other important things. Grab this, like I see you doing, so many of you, and run, and don't let anything hold you back. Getting in front of as many people as possible. Always improving our language so that instead of tentative speech, we have assertive speech, which really is what closing is about. Helping people, guiding them to what they need to be doing as opposed to asking. That's all they're waiting for, is us to guide them. And I see each one of you as you evolve into that and bring the skills that you already have into that. I don't see how any of you won't make it as long as you stick with it.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And the fact that people are on this call shows that they have the desire to reach that rank. Dana and I are very, very much pushing for it. So we are hot on everybody's heels. Look out for us coming down the pipeline. But I'm not going to stretch the call out just for, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tara Lynn. You had something you wanted to share? You're muted, sweetie.
Okay, there we go. That's why I said I had to find my unmute.
Okay.
I'm not used to this. Let me see if I can find myself on here. My big advice would be never forget your why may change as you're growing, but don't ever forget your why. Don't ever forget why you're doing this. Like I said, your why can change, but as long as you remember your why, you'll get there. I promise. It'll happen, and don't quit. That's it.
Persistence is key. Thank you for sharing that, Tara Lynn. We appreciate it.
I just want to add one last thing. Just, as Leah's saying that everybody has the ability to do that, that's 100% true. But remember, you don't have to do this alone. So you have a team, you have a system. We'll get into the 4 tendencies, and we know that 41% of people are obligers, which means they need the accountability. So please ask for help. If you need someone to check in with you once a week in order to keep you on track, then ask for that. Like, one of the things in the Crown Diamond panel, one of them said, no one ever came to me. No one asked me for help. So I want you guys to know that as the silver leaders on the team, please reach out. Please ask for help. Tara Lynn's on the call because I called her to ask for some advice, and I asked her to join the call and give some opinion and see if this might be valuable for even a greater audience. So please reach up. If you guys hadn't seen the global leadership qualifications, the only way you can win your way on is by helping other people rank up. So if you would like to be executive, if you would like to be silver by the end of the year, raise your hand, let us know so we can get with you on a weekly basis and help you do that.
All right, very good. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Okay, so at this point, what I want to do is I want to open up the floor for anyone that has any events to promote. I do want to promote our bi-weekly monthly team meeting. This one is going to be particularly focusing on some of those skills that we talked about and how to cultivate them, practice sessions on building for business. So that's going to be this Tuesday at 7 p.m. at the Rusty Bucket in Bloomfield. It is in the group chat, but we'll repost the flyer with the information for that. Are there any other events that are going on within the next week that you guys want people to know about so that they can plug into?
I'm not sure if Karen's going to say something, but she's got a class in Ann Arbor, so I'm calling her up. Karen.
Oh, you are being summoned.
Hey, yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to unmute my audio here. So yeah, there's a class in Ann Arbor, 6:00 p.m. on Wednesday. My days, I don't know what day that is. I think it's the 25th.
Yes.
Yes. I just got off of 4 days of a vendor event, so I am pretty beat. And that is Ann Arbor. It's at North University Panera in the basement. There will be plenty of signage there, and it's at 6 p.m.
It starts at 6 p.m.
p.m. North University Panera, because there are 3 Paneras in a very short little block there. And that'll be in Ann Arbor. I'm sure there'll be another one following for about a couple months there. I just haven't had an opportunity to meet with the manager to work it all out. And once that is, then I'll definitely let you guys all know.
Okay. Karen, can you do me a favor and post that in the group chat so that everyone has the information when you get it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Can I add one other thing? I know you guys were talking about this, and if you guys didn't have an opportunity to go back to the last Zoom call about ditch the pitch, you don't know how many people I talked to this 4 days that knew about a membership but had no clue about an rewards membership. I actually had people like, what is that? How do I do that? Why wouldn't I want a cash back? And I'm telling you, people were like, well, can you just get me a rewards membership? How do I become a rewards membership? I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, to me, because how many times did I mess it up with my group? Right? Like, what? So anyway, so I know if you guys are all reaching for silver, which I know everyone is, really, really nail in the rewards membership. Why are you laughing? Everybody looks like he's smirking.
No, I've been in the same boat, so that's why I'm laughing, because you and I are very similar, Karen, and we have very similar personalities. So I 100% get you on that. So
yeah,
I can't agree with you more. I mean, Essential Rewards is really the backbone of your business, and we talked about that. So we want to make sure that we're enrolling people on Essential Rewards. So even if you have to go back through those who are not on ER and follow up with them, get them on ER. Okay.
I was just going to add too, don't forget, if you're in, the Michigan area, Shannon Hudson's next event, August 17th and 18th. So that's one that you want to make sure you get with your leaders, get your tickets for that. Because the education that you get there, it's always interesting when I go to like the big conventions, or even when I was down in North Carolina and they were promoting their Elevate thing that they do or whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen like all those speakers that you were advertising. Like I've seen all of them at Shannon's, and I pay way less money than like what you guys are paying to see these people. And then I'm like, and all those people in one day, like, can you really get all the education? I'm like, we're so privileged to have, what Shannon does. So just want to put that out there too, that 17th and 18th. Also convention, if you haven't got your convention tickets for next year in July, remember to start saving and thinking about that as well. Now is the time, because those prices are going to go up in October, I believe. Mm-hmm. So now is the time to start planning.
And just really quickly, I'll add to that, like Shannon puts on phenomenal events. Those that are in the area, we tend to try to support her events as much as possible. If you did not get a chance to make it to convention, or if you feel like you're in a lull or a rut within your business, like attend one of Shannon's events. They are very, very good for getting people motivated as well. So definitely look into that. It's well worth it. Well worth the time spent.
Did you guys buy leader packs? Has anybody bought leader packs?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Yep. Okay. Looks like a few people have. Tashina, you bought some. Leah, looks like you had your hand up. You bought some as well. Yeah. So get with them if you'd like to get tickets for that event. Anything else that I missed before we close out the call?
Yeah, the 30th is our Metro Detroit Leaders Zoom call. So we're going to have 2 Zoom calls in a row. We'll have next Sunday, and then we'll have the Metro Detroit Leaders for our rally, October 6th rally planning call. So we got a couple of golds that are signed up to support that with some of their silver leaders. So we're going to be talking about, some of the big important things as far as if we want a theme, what that theme is going to be, what platform we're going to be promoting it on, to make sure that we have flyers and are ready to go when we're all at Shannon's in August. Like, we will be the Metro Detroit area, the largest and the biggest and the one that everybody wants to come to. So, and we got a lot of people on board, other cross-line leaders ready and excited to support that. And then just look out for our online classes as well. We'll have them all in the Google Docs. So as we have the August classes, we'll just update that, and you guys can make sure you get them on the calendar and continue to let us know about your classes, because that's what we want. We want these classes to be regular, consistent, where people can plug into, and you can send people whether you're there or not.
All right. All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you for adding that. We'll look forward to those calls coming up. Thank you, everybody, for being on and for taking time out of your day. Hopefully you found this call to be very beneficial and helpful for you. And we encourage you to join us again next week for next week's convention recap. And until then, everybody go out there. Let's do it. Enjoy your week. Stay healthy, stay well, and we'll see you guys then. Take care.
Bye.
Good night.